How are you guys today?
Good.
Hi.
How are you, Stephanie?
I'm great. Congratulations on season two. Nora from Queens is hilarious. Bowen, I love your work on Saturday Night Live. How
Thank
is
you.
your experience working in a comedy series compared to SNL skits?
I mean, it is a really nice, balanced thing to be able to go from like something that's as seat of your pants as SNL to go to something that is just as outrageous, but we get to have nice moments of stillness and consideration and thought that go into everything, and it's so collaborative. I really lucked out with the way it worked out between going from SNL to Nora and then back and back and forth and forth. So it was really great. Yeah.
I think I love that word outrageous. That's like the best way to describe the series. Lori, I really enjoyed your character. It definitely reminds me of my own Asian family and their antics at times. How did it feel working with Aquafina and the rest of the cast again?
Oh, everybody rolls with the punches, and so it's great. What appears on the script, you might want to expound, and add more to it. And they all followed in. You see what Bowen Bao does with a piece of cheese.
Oh yes, there's a piece of cheese that is an important prop in one of
Oh,
the episodes.
oh, it's so Asian too.
Well, there are definitely a lot of like cultural costumes and things and fun scenes like every episode, which is amazing. Bowen, I think your scenes where you have all the auditions is hilarious. Did you have similar experiences in your career?
Sure. I mean, it was a lot of like, running during lunch breaks out of the office at my day jobs and, going to like some random audition for a thing that I wasn't really sure what I was supposed to be doing. Yeah, that was a very relatable little moment in Edmund's life as a character that I was like, oh, I know exactly how to play this because this is so familiar and lived in. Yeah, so familiar.
I have a few friends that are actually like in the Broadway and like audition process. And I feel like sometimes there are like horror stories where, sometimes this could be suspicious or, that's exactly
Sure.
that's exactly what I saw when watching the series. Lori, what do you want people to know about your character in season two?
She's badass. That's the best way I can say. You can't tell her what to do. She will tell you what to do. You know.
I
And
completely agree. I love when you have some family members revisit you and it's a little competitive, which is amazing.
oh,
What
yeah, Jay.
the whole get up, I loved it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so great. But what do you want people to know about your character in season two?
Is that he is much more human in this season. I mean, he was such a person that you love to hate in the first season. There was really nothing redeeming about him, and that is always fun to play. But it was nice to like add some dimension this time, and that's a credit to the writers and to the EPs who really shaped this season. But there's this real emotional um layer, this like top layer, bottom layer. Maybe it's always been there, where he is just as insecure as probably anyone is about his path in life, and I think that's something that Nora can probably relate to as a character too. So I really hope people resonate, or that resonates with people.
I love it. Thank you guys so much for your time. Season two is amazing. I can't wait to see more of it. And I want to say, Laura, are you at an all-inclusive resort right now, or can I come, or
This is her private little cabana.
like, like a swim up
Yeah.
bar over there? It looks so
Oh,
great.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much again for your time.
Take
Thank you.
care.
How are you today?
I'm good, Stephanie. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. BD Wong, you're the voice of Captain Li Shang in Disney's Mulan, among many other roles, and now you're Nora's dad again in season two. How did
Yes,
it feel working with Aquafina and the rest of the cast again?
it feels great. I mean, I'm happy to say that we like each other and that we have a good time and that we look out for each other and that we have a family dynamic. I think partly due to the fact that we're playing the roles of family members with each other. But the Asian American community and the Asian American community of actors is very protective of itself and its siblings. And so there's something special actually about being in a show with other Asians. I've always felt that when I've had the opportunity. Those are some of the highlights of my creative life is the times that I've worked with other Asian actors, a lot of them.
I love your dynamic with each member on the series, and I'm glad it reflects well off screen as well. So the show is hilarious. What kind of adventures can we expect from your character this season?
I think the main thing is, Nora continues to wonder and doubt and stumble around what it is that she's doing with her life. And I think Wally starts to realize what an impediment that is in his own life as a widower trying to move on and all of that. And in season 1, he began dating a woman named Brenda, who is played by Jennifer Esposito, who's wonderful. And so Brenda is back, and Wally and Brenda are getting more and more serious at the top of season 2. And that relationship and its seriousness creates the potential obstacle for his relationship, Wally's relationship with Nora. And that's both tender and nervous making, but also really, really funny too.
You
The way
definitely
that Nora acts out on her feelings about Brenda is really hilarious.
You definitely go on some crazy journeys in season 2. Watching the show really reminds me of my own Asian family sometimes. You talked a little bit about it before, but can you talk about the importance of diversity and representation and what that means to you as an Asian actor?
Oh yeah, I've talked about it before, but I'm not going to stop. It's like the thing that it fuels me in so many ways. And this show is a really great opportunity to do that kind of conversation. I feel that this show is powerful because it doesn't really actually sell its Asian Americanness at all. It just is Asian American, and the Asian American details of the show are authentic, but they're never highlighted or discussed or a part of actually, they're not part of the character's problem. And I think that part of the reason why that's allowed to exist is because over the years, writers have really developed their self-esteem about being Asian American, and that now they can actually write it and put it out there and say, this is what it is. I'm not apologizing for it, and I'm not even explaining it. You just watch it and you see if you can find your family in there or yourself. And that is when magical things actually are allowed to happen. So I mean, who wouldn't want to be on a part of a show that can do that? It's actually pretty rare that a show that has Asian American characters in it has been able to do that.
It's definitely a fresh perspective on the Asian community. It's hilarious. But I completely agree with everything you're saying. It's definitely been a tough year with the pandemic. Did you face any challenges while filming?
We faced the normal challenges of filming during a pandemic, and our production company and our producers have done a wonderful job keeping us on point with the COVID restrictions and all of that stuff. And we're really lucky to have been able to get through that all, walk away from it, and have a whole season 2 to show for it. That is something that kind of makes you nervous while you're doing it, but if people take care of you, then it can turn out okay. I've found that on several productions. I think it was after we shot, or at the end of when we shot, that all of the Asian hate crimes and the anti-Asian sentiment and all of that stuff was coming out. No, it was coming out before that. It was coming out the entire time we were shooting the show. So we were really aware of that, and wondering what role it plays in the writing of the show. Not a whole lot, because the show is a celebration, subtly a celebration of an Asian American existence, right? And so just by being there, I think the show plays a positive role in the community's strength or ability to laugh or to be resilient or move on. And it doesn't really need to do much more, make more of a statement than that. But as individuals, we did all, Lori herself, who's an older Asian American woman, it's a very rough time for someone like her. She's very vulnerable demographic to be living in New York City. And she has personal experiences with people that have been assaulted and stuff like that. And you see firsthand the importance of these hashtags, Stop Asian Hate and stuff like that. They can become meaningless until you attach them to something that really means something to you. And so we all felt that. I can speak on behalf of everybody. I'm sure that everybody felt microaggressions since they're just wee little kids, and all of those things. People, it's a common question. What have you experienced? Oh gosh, don't get me started. We've all experienced so much.
Well, thank you so much for your empowering words. I love Nora from Queens, and I hope to speak with you again. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Stephanie. Good job. Thanks for representing.
Of course. Nora from Queens is amazing and brings a fresh perspective on the Asian identity. Teresa, you co-create the show. What can we expect in season 2?
Season 2, we have more of the kind of like wacky, fun irreverence from season 1. But I think, Nora's leveled up a little bit with her new job and her sort of personal life. And I think that's sort of what we were going for, was just, knowing the tone of the show, knowing the characters, knowing what our actors are able to do, and really kind of leaning into some of the more emotional sides of our characters in season 2.
The show is so brilliant and at times definitely relatable. Karey, what do you want people to know about season 2?
Let's see. I think it's a season 2 is got, Nora's like moving on in the world, and I think she's really exploring herself and her identity. And she takes a journey, I think, this season. And I think we've got some really cool episodes. We've got an episode that B.D. Wong directed that's like a really personal episode, and really like a really emotional episode, and you learned a lot about the characters. So I think you watch for that. And then also we have some really fun episodes that involve imaginary friends, maybe some time travel. That's what I think people should say to watch.
I was definitely laughing during every episode. Teresa, can you talk about the importance of diversity and representation and what that means to you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think growing up, I never really saw that many people who look like me on camera. And so just even getting into this business and not really expecting to be able to actually see people who look like me. And I think that's the one thing that we really wanted to stress, of just, this is an Asian American family, but it's also a universal story. And I think just being able to see people who look like you and have that experience has been really, really nice. And not only in front of the camera, but also behind the camera. Like our crew is incredibly diverse, full of women. And I think that that's the great thing that Comedy Central has been able to give us, is just really supporting us in being able to make the show, and having a diverse writer's room, having a diverse crew. And obviously our sort of on camera people just being an Asian American family that everyone can kind of relate to.
I completely agree. Karey, how is working with Aquafina, the cast and crew again?
It was awesome. I mean, after a little bit longer of a time not being able to shoot the show, it was super fun just to all be together again. It really is like everyone gets along great. It's a really fun time. It was just super fun to get to work with, Lori, BD, and Bowen and Aquafina again. So yeah.
It was so hilarious. I really loved all the different themes and how the different episodes focused on the characters. It was also a very tough time for everyone this year during the pandemic. Did you guys face any challenges? Teresa, if you want to talk a little bit about that while filming?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was absolutely a tough time. And the nice thing about, we were lucky enough to be able to shoot the show. And the nice thing, I think, for the show and just in general, was just this kind of escapist thing of being able to laugh with people that you love. And that was really, I think, kind of the nice and a light at the end of the tunnel of just a dark year, but also being able to like finally get back to work we're really grateful for that.
Thank you guys so much for your time. I really enjoyed it. Congratulations on season 2. I'm so excited for everyone to watch it. So thank you guys again.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.